Test mic, test mic. Oh, it sounds better. Yeah, it sounds better. Is it working? Yeah, is it working? Okay, rolling. What up guys, it's your boy Cielshock from City USA Mini 4-wheel drive racing squad, and I'm a teacher here in Noobworx. And before I start my video, I want to say shout out to High Speed Matrixx Oil and High Speed Matrixx Power Cleaner. Alright, if you guys are interested with these two products, I got the link in the description below. And also I want to say shout out to Yo Clothing if you guys are into streetwear, Filipino 90s nostalgic clothing theme. Yo Clothing, I also got the link in the description below. And also I want to say shout out to Marvin Villarama and Eagle Steam from Kuwait. Shout out to you all. And today's video is gonna be about VZ chassis weight reduction. Check it out. Alright, so here we go. We are going to weight reduce this VZ chassis. We need a file. We need cutter. And we obviously need the VZ chassis that we already bumperless, so you see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the wing first by using our cutter. But first we are going to weigh it after bumperlessing it and removing all the internals. And our unit is grams, and as you can see, it's 10 grams right there. 10 grams without the internals, and it's already bumperless. The bumper is already cut. Alright, so let's begin the cutting. We are going to use the file and cut the sides first, this side wings. So you guys gotta remember, the side wings of a VZ chassis is similar to VS chassis. So I'm gonna do some time lapse over here, and just be careful that don't overcut. Just remember, don't overcut. Never ever overcut. Be careful with this side over here, because the lock of the VS is the same as the VZ. There's a clip over there that secures the lock. Make sure you don't overcut that. So we're cutting the wings over here because it's going to be on the way to when we do some body damper system. So that will out of the way. And now we're going to file this side. So while we're piling this, I'm gonna time lapse this too, so it will be faster. Just be careful. Again, it's better to undercut so you can fix it after than to overcut or to overpile. Because if you pile this over, you can take it back. There you go, finished product. On the sides, pretty nice, right? Pretty dope, pretty flush. Just remove a little bit of debris using my brush. And now we are going to mark the part that I'm gonna cut in the battery compartment using a Sharpie. Before you cut it, just make sure you check all the battery spots over there, or that holds it, the construction of the chassis. Analyze it carefully before you cut it, because you might overcut. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try to cut this size over here that I'm gonna mark without cutting the plastic in between those gaps. And once I cut it, I'm gonna try the battery again, try to figure out if I can get a way of cutting those extra plastic over there, because if I overcut and it will be super flimsy and the battery doesn't fit well, there's no way, there's no turning back. So we have to be really careful about this, since nobody did this yet that I've seen in YouTube. So I'm doing this myself. Alright, so now there's another time lapse cutting it. There you go. Now fitting the battery. Seems like we're doing good so far. So far so good. Cut the middle, just very careful. And then I'm gonna start piling it. All right. So now you can see that the left side is almost done, and there you go. That's what it looks like with the plastic in between. So now I think I'm just gonna cut it all over because it seems like the battery will fit well anyway. Even I cut those in between plastic right there. Okay, there you go. So I cut it all the way, both of them, and the chassis is tough enough to cut those two holes right there. And now I'm gonna start trying the batteries again. Let's see if it fits well. So make sure you do this a lot of times so you don't see any mistakes, and to avoid unnecessary mistakes too. And you have to see that the battery really fits well, or else you're gonna mess up. Doing some weight reduction on this chassis, you're gonna ruin the chassis if the battery actually doesn't fit well. All right, so now it's smooth and silky now. There you go. It's starting to look good. I like piling it myself without a milling machine. I mean, you can have a milling machine too, because milling machine is really expensive, but it feels good to doing it by hand. But some milling machine are, you know. Oh, there you go. Now I'm trying to weigh this, and we lost 2 grams. So I was saying earlier, people use milling machines too. You can use milling machines, but like Proxen, a lot of people do that. But if you have the money, but me, you know, I don't have the money to do that, and I also enjoy cutting it myself, so I just do it by hand. So these are like to help other racers that can't afford milling machines. So now I'm putting my internals back, and we're gonna see if the battery fits well. And it fits well, then we have a success. So remember, we bumperless this chassis already, and now we just cut the weight reduction, the battery compartment in the sides. That's why it ends up being 8 grams. So I'm pretty sure it's more than 10 grams earlier before I cut the bumper, if you want to see that video. All right, so there you go. That's the finished product, and hope you like it. It's pretty easy, right? There you go. You've seen the video, and it was fun doing it. And this is the final product of my VZ chassis weight reduction video. And you've seen it. We've lost a couple of grams, and I'm pretty sure we've lost a lot more after we bumperless this chassis. But unfortunately, I didn't get to weigh it, so it looks like it's only 2 grams that we lost. But I'm pretty sure we lost a lot. And one thing I've noticed is this chassis is not too flimsy as I expected. I expected it to be flimsy because the chassis is light to begin with. I just want to make it like super light as much as I can. But it seems like it's very sturdy, so I'm really excited what I can do with this. Because when you are trying to do some weight reduction in the chassis, you're basically weakening the chassis to make it light. So we try to minimize that weak spot so it won't be too flimsy. But the reason why we make it a little bit flimsy is to absorb some impact when it's going through cornerings. And if you have a sturdy and super hard or sturdy chassis, the car intends to crash or course out because of the unforgiving landing or its aggressive approach on the bank. So it's kind of absorb that shock that is giving when the car goes in cornerings and when it's jumping through slopes and some tabletops. All right, so before I go, I just want to say please support the Deep Pit Stop Racing Center. It's on Central Taguig, Philippines, and if you guys are interested with more details, check them at deeppitstop.ph on Facebook. All right, Deep Pit Stop. More forward to you guys. Check them out. All right, so this is Cielshock from CTUSA Mini 4-wheel drive racing squad, and I'm a teacher here in Noobworx. As I always say, we learn from you, you learn from us. Always race humble. Peace.